Hey, everybody, and welcome to a horrific episode of John Talks Indian Cinema. That's right, we're getting close to Halloween, and I'm watching some horror films. Oh, I don't know if horror is the right word, but I'm watching scary films. I guess that's more appropriate. So the film, and by the way, if you have a scary film you want me to watch, and I think I mentioned this on the last show, don't mention Tumbad. I saw that. Creepy as hell, by the way, okay? But I've already reviewed it. But that was a very good and disturbing movie. Disturbing. Um, but this time, and I'm not sure if somebody recommended this. You might have. And if you did, I apologize. But the film I'm going to review is 2003's Boot, Bhoot, which I think means ghost in Hindi. I hope it does. It's directed by Ram Gopal Varma, who also directed Rangeela and Shiva, or Rangeela. Is it Rangeela? I got to be El Koshi always corrects me because he always picks on me for my pronunciations. I say that affectionately, El Koshi. It's either Rangeela or Rangeela, and also Shiva. It stars Ajay Devgn, who you guys know I'm a huge fan of. Singham, Drishyam 1 and 2, Raid 1 and 2. Urmila Matondkar, who was in EK Hasina Thi or Thai, an Indian, and Rangeela, I'm not sure which one. Nana Patekar, who was in Gadar 2. Victor Banerjee, and Rekha, 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 I think, who was in Krrish. A couple things about this film. This film did really well, but was not a typical Bollywood film. And as I was and when I was done watching it, I was like, okay, that was different. No songs, had great incidental music that fit this thing to a T. It was under 2 hours, and the the focus of the film was the women. It wasn't Ajay Devgn's character. And that was, especially at that time frame, I'm sure that was even rarer than you might see today. Okay. Also, it's loosely inspired. Elements were taken from Ram Gopal Verma's 1992 Rot, Raat, a movie I have not seen. Some ideas from it. And it was also for Ajay Devgn. It was the first, it was the introduction of his new look. He did something different with his hair and he grew the beard. I call it a goatee. He grew that. So that was kind of interesting. So now we go to the story. The story, and this film reminded me of, I think it was called Fear 13B, Fear Has a New Address. It kind of reminded me of that film. Now that was a more recent film than this, so that film stole from this film, but that's what it reminded me of. A young couple who obviously love each other are looking for an apartment. I think they say house, but it's an apartment. And it opens with Ajay Devgan's character, who is Vishal, looking for a place. So this guy, a realtor, showing him, says, "I do have a place," and he goes to it, and it's a beautiful place, right? It's got a loft, it's got stairs, it's really nice. Well, he finds out a woman committed suicide, or fell off the balcony and got killed, and that's why nobody's rented the place, and the rent is cheap. Well, he takes it, doesn't tell his wife, Swati, and they move in. And it moves fast. Like he goes into it and it looks like it's still under construction, right? He agrees to it, and the next scene is it's this beautifully furnished house. So it happens like that. Well, the story is that the apartment is haunted by the girl who jumped off the balcony, and I think, and I'm not 100% sure if this, his little brother or some other kid from the building. I didn't really quite understand that. And if you've seen this movie and can explain that to me, I would appreciate it. But what happens is Swati starts experiencing hallucinations or so she thinks. And it's very clever the way they do this. You know, she's in the foreground looking one way. All of a sudden, you see something moving in the back. They do that a lot. And then there's the jump scares, right, where someone will grab her on the shoulder. It's like that, and it's the husband making a joke or something. But as the movie progresses, she's getting more. Um, they think she's got multiple personality disorder. So they bring her to the hospital. They get a psychiatrist involved, and she's getting worse and worse till at one point it literally becomes The Exorcist. They've got her strapped to a bed. She's got, you know, they pale. They make her skin very pale, but they put these big red circles around her eyes. So now she's possessed. Now we don't know yet. She's possessed by Manjeet, who was the girl who jumped off the balcony. And Ajay's character, Vishal, is trying to do anything to figure this out. But there's also a murder that happens. They've got a night watchman who's not very good because he's either not there or when he is there, he's asleep. Well, at one point, he gets murdered. And the interesting thing about this was not a scary film. I wouldn't even call it a horror film, but it was very, what's the word I want to use to describe it? The way I was feeling. It's a very, disturbing is not the right word, unsettling. It's a very unsettling movie. Not just the story, but the way it's shot. The building, the apartment building, becomes a character in the film. And they shoot it from all kinds of different angles. He does really interesting things with the camera. You know, Dutch angles. They tilt everything, but the camera swirls around. It's close up on weird things, but it just and the music really adds to the creepiness of it. So he's desperate. Well, there's a maid who also is kind of creepy. And there's this little doll that the wife finds up on a loft, brings it down, and it's in the foreground of every shot. And you don't really understand why. You find out later it's the little boy's doll. But you think like the doll's possessed because it's always there. And there's a maid who's creepy, and you don't know, you can't really figure her deal out. She's the one that suggests going to this woman who's a medium. And it's played by Rika, and her character's name was Sarita. Great name for a medium, isn't it? She's going to perform an exorcism of Swati. Now, she's the one who figures out it's Manjeet, and Manjeet wants revenge for her death. So they get Manjeet's mother to come around and to talk to her. And then what you find out is the landlord. Now, there's also a police inspector who's trying to figure out who killed the watchman. And you never know that, by the way. They don't tell you that. You assume it's Swati possessed by Manjeet who does it. They don't show it. In fact, the only time they show the body after the murder, all the police are around it. All you see is a hand with a bracelet in the shot. That's all you see. You don't see anything else. So it's not a bloody thing or anything like that. So then they figure out through this medium that the landlord who owns the building, his son is the one who killed the girl, killed Manjeet. And because the little kid saw it, killed him, I think. Or the watchman killed him because the watchman was also there who witnessed this. That got a little confusing to me. So, and there's a great scene where they've got the son down in the garage, and she's going to kill him. And don't do that, Manjeet, because if she kills him, Swati will be held responsible for it. But then all of a sudden, so she stops choking him. Now the body goes up the wall and then goes up on the ceiling, which is right out of The Exorcist. But it was a cool thing. And it hovers right over these steel rods sticking up. They finally get the guy to confess. Swati brings him down. Now, there's a great scene where the mother of Manjeet confronts Swati, possessed by Manjeet. And she's holding her face and she's crying and she's, saying goodbye to her. And she says, "You have to go. You're not of this world anymore." And it's a beautiful scene. They both play it really well. And finally, the spirit leaves. So now everybody's seen this. There's some side plots I'm not going to get into. I want to get to this part. So they arrest, and what was his name? I got to give you the guy's name. uh, Sanjay. He's the guy that killed him. So now he goes to jail. And the inspector who puts him in the jail says, "Look, you're going to get the death penalty, but I actually wish there was worse punishment for what you did." Now he's in the cell by himself, and it's dark in there, right? All of a sudden, you see Manjeet, the real Manjeet, right? The pale black circles around, and it fades to black, and the last thing you hear is Sanjay saying, "I'm sorry," and that's how it ends. So it was like I said, ugh, it was intense. It was intense. So this is not a news story. In fact, there's been a lot of films of a place being put ghosts in a residence, and it somehow affects one of them. There's been a lot. In fact, the I can't remember the name of it. There's another one I watched. Oh, what the hell is the name of it? Akshay Kumar was in it. He plays like a ghost hunter, but it was the same thing. They go in, this demon possesses a woman. So it's a two. The story is a two. The performances. Well, I have to tell you that Ajay Devgn was fine, but nothing special. The girl I thought was really, really good in this. Urmila Matondkar as Swati, because she goes through a lot in this film. And other than the makeup, the red eyes and the paleness to show the possession, forgetting that, she was really good in this. In the beginning, she's adorable and she loves him, and a lot of laughs and fun. Um, but then as she's starting to see these things, she doesn't know what's happening. And then when she gets possessed, she's like a completely different person. And that scene with the mother, very emotional. And then she snaps out of it. So and there was also a psychiatrist in it that was trying to help her who lost a daughter. The medium was effective. Um, so the performances were, I would normally give a three, but I thought she was really, really good in this. And the mother in that one scene she did, I thought was phenomenal. So I'm going to give the performances a four. Now, there was no songs, but I will tell you the music was fantastic. It was so creepy. Um, and it just kept the feeling of dread, two-thirds of the movie. And I will say that some of the jump scares, there were too many of them. They overdid that, and the music punctuates it. They did a little too much of that. But beyond that, just the setup, the way it was shot with the music, like even the opening credits was weird. It was like dreamlike. It was almost like black and white, and all you can hear is screaming and a baby crying all through the opening credits. So right away, you knew this was going to be like a disturbing movie. Um, but I gave the music a four. I thought it fit this stuff to the T and really enhanced the uneasiness of this film. So overall, my verdict on this, it was effectively, it wasn't even, I can't even call it creepy. It was not creepy. It was just this feeling of dread, but it was very effective in that feeling. You really didn't understand what was going on. But I gave it a four. I really liked it. It is not a scary film. It's not bloody. It's not violent in any way. It makes you feel very uneasy the whole film. And it's short, so it's an easy watch too. But I really liked it. So if you have not seen it, I spoiled the heck out of it. But I think you'd still like it, even though you know the endings. Because some of the stuff I just didn't even understand. It got a little confusing for me on who did what and why they did it. But effectively, again, not creepy. Creepy's not the right word. It just made you feel uneasy. That's the kind of movie it was. Okay. Now, is going to lead me right into my recommendation. So look, the obvious choice, and I'm not going to make it my big recommendation, but I am going to tell you if you like a film like this, then you got to see 1973's The Exorcist. It's directed by William Friedkin, great director, and it's got a great cast. And it's written by William Peter Blatty. And if most people have seen it, and by today's standards, it might not resonate like it did in 1973. But let me tell you something. In 1973, it was scary as hell. And one of the main reasons was Linda Blair, who I think was 14 when she made this film. She was nominated for an Oscar for this. She was so good in this film when she was so innocent, and then she becomes the devil. And, she's puking up pea soup. She's climbing on the walls, and she's talking in that voice. And the priest who lost faith. If you haven't seen it, see it. If you like this movie, you'll like that movie, okay? But that's not my big recommendation. The film that gave me the feeling that this film gave me was 1999's The Sixth Sense, directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Shyamalan, I think I'm saying that right. Starring Bruce Willis, Toni Collette, and again, an amazing performance by Holly Joel Osment. Um, Now, I consider myself pretty good at figuring out twists. I'm pretty good at that. So and I didn't know anything about this film when I saw it, other than I see dead people. That was a line on the ads all the time. And so the amazing scene where he figures out that he's dead already, Bruce Willis, is a great scene. Great scene. The look on his face, then the blood on his shirt, and Haley Joel Osment, he's the one that says it. It was just an amazing, amazing twist that nobody saw. Now, people say today, "Oh, I knew right away." Sorry, I don't buy it, because they didn't give. Now, I will say this: in hindsight, there's a scene in the film where Bruce Willis visits Haley Joel Osment in the hospital. And for the first time, he explains about he sees dead people. Then he starts describing the dead people. And he says, they don't know they're dead. Right? Now, as he's describing the dead people, and this was something Knight did that, in hindsight, you're like, he almost gave it away, right? But the whole time Haley Joel Osment is talking, the camera keeps zooming in on Bruce Willis because he's describing Bruce Willis in the film. So you look at it now and say, "Oh yeah, now that makes sense." But that was pretty brave to not give it away, right? And again, that whole film from almost the beginning just made you feel like queasy almost. The whole film. And then when the payoff is he's dead, it's like, oh my God, you didn't see that coming. That's what this film reminded me of. So that's why I recommend The Sixth Sense. And the problem with this film and how well it did was every M. Night movie's got to have that twist at the end. And I would say Unbreakable had not as good a twist, but a really good one, where his other movies I don't think really do now, because you're expecting it. So you're looking for it, right? But I think this one was his best film, although I did love Unbreakable. Loved it. But see this if you haven't seen it. Now I've spoiled it, so you know the ending. But if you don't know by now, I don't know. You got to watch TV or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's my review of Boot and my recommendation of The Sixth Sense. If you've got a scary movie you want me to watch, and you know what, I'll throw this out to you. Is there a scary movie? It doesn't have to be Indian. Is there a movie that you recommend that is a good Halloween movie? Now, before I say that, I want to make this clear. I don't know if you guys ever watched the old show. My brother Ralph loves the torture porn movies, the Saw movies, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I am not into those, and I won't watch them. I don't enjoy them. I loved Halloween, the original, because it was so different than anything I'd ever seen. And, it's not overly violent like a lot of the later films. Look at Psycho. Psycho's a scary film. The knife never hits anything, never in the entire film. So that's not the kind of scary film I want to watch. I am a Universal monster, 1930, 1940s horror. Those are the movies I love. But if there's a film I should watch for Halloween that you could recommend that isn't all blood and guts, because I won't watch it. I'm just telling you up front. put it in the comment section and I'll watch it. I want to try to watch like 5 or 6 before Halloween and put out the shows before Halloween. So let me know. As always, if you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button, and please share. I'm trying to hit 2,000. I've definitely hit a wall, and I got to find the right one. You know, you find that you watch a movie or a trailer, it takes off, the subscriptions go up. I haven't found that yet, so I'm still looking, but I'm going to keep doing it because I enjoy it. And there are a bunch of maniacs out there that continue to watch the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. I really do. I mean that. So that's it. We'll talk to you soon on John Talks Indian Cinema with a trailer reaction, a movie review, or a song review. I don't know. There's so much to do, so little time. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.